Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Bob's Revolvers and Autos. I'm going to do a quick video today on this P220 here. I mentioned in my last video I was going to be getting a set of wood grips for it, and they came in, so here they are. And I got to say, they look absolutely stunning, if I do say so myself. These are Hogue Pau Ferro. I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but yeah, they're Hogue grips. They're very, very, very well made. They're not cheap either. They'll run you about $100, maybe actually a little more than that. But I am very, very pleased with the way they turned out. Let's see. I hope the lighting's not great here, but hopefully you can still get an idea. And these things, you're usually working with stock photos, so I wasn't entirely sure exactly what, my set was going to look like. It's kind of a bit of a gamble. And I probably could have sent them back, but if I didn't like it, but, you don't know what the grain and what exactly the set you're going to get, if you're going to like it or not. So I was kind of, I was a little bit worried, but they turned out great. I'm very, very pleased. Very high quality, no seam in the back. Everything's flush where it should be. Well, almost. I do have one small gripe. I hope this comes up. Where the two grip panels come together, meet the frame right here, there's a little bit of a lip. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's very, very small, and I've put these grips on and off a couple times just to make sure I was, I was putting them on right. And it's still there every time. It's not bad. You can kind of feel it if you do this, one of these numbers, but it didn't bother me at the range. But yeah, just you tell me that doesn't look great. That's the great thing about these old school guns. Is you can throw a new set of grips on it, and it's like you got a brand new gun. It looks different, feels different. You can't really do that with all the plastic guns. You can send them off and have the frames stippled or whatever people do to them, but that's more or less permanent. You could throw a different set of grip on your guns every single day, when it comes to these panels. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's the way to go. Saves you money, and you don't get as bored with your guns. You just go on eBay, find a set of grips you like, and throw them on there. I know everybody's into like the G10 grips these days, but I don't think you can beat a set of wood. I got my dad a set of, I think they were Cocobolo, but they were the Hogue ones a couple years ago for his 229. Yeah, I like these Pau Ferro ones. Kind of a medium color, not too light, not too dark. My 225 here also has wood grips. These are walnut, I believe. But I'm pretty sure Hogue made these ones for these Sig 225s as well. These come from the factory with the wood grips. So, but yeah, I will say I do kind of like these. Now this one, there's not as much of the grain showing. The grain looks okay, but I think sometimes it can look a little extreme. I know some people think that's like what the beauty of it, but I don't know. These ones aren't bad. I think these turned out really good. But yeah, I don't want this video to be too long, but yeah, dude, it came with these when I first got it. Wasn't a fan of them. They're okay. I mean, whatever. They just felt kind of cheap. And then so I swapped them out for these thin or slim, I guess they're called, old school grip panels for the 220. And they were fine. They were pretty good. And I like, single stack grips, but they kind of came to a weird ridge in the back, and they didn't sit flush right here on the edges. And I don't know, they weren't really doing it for me, so I decided to get some wood, throw some little extra class on a classy gun. Everybody knows these old Sigs, it's the perfect combination of duty, just like business and class. They look like they mean business, but they also you know, have just some really cool, attractive lines to them. And I think the wood just really, you know, contrasts them well. It does come with 4 grip screws, so that's cool. Mine were pretty ate up, so I'm actually glad it came with these, because it would have looked a little funny with the old ones. But it does kind of always bother me with these things that I can never seem to get the screw heads to line up right. You know, one just doesn't want to go quite as far as another one, and then they're kind of always in wonky directions. But oh well, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. But yeah, I just thought you guys might want to take a look at, you know, this set of grips. These are from, like I said, from Hogue. These are the Pau Ferro ones, so if you like what you see. Check ring's nice on both sides. You know, it is smooth in the back, so the check ring stops right around here and here. So it is very smooth back here. So if that's something that it's going to bother you, you know, there's really no texture back there. So that's something to be aware of. But really, really solid set of grips. I highly recommend.